Last play of the quarter, 2nd and 2 at the 24. Mullins, pocket collapses on him. He threw a pick right down the sideline to Kam Curl. He gets a block from James Smith-Williams. He's still going. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Touchdown Washington. Second defensive score of the game for Washington.
This is The Game, presented by BDO. Julie Donaldson, Santana, and Zach Selby with you, and we are celebrating what is now Washington's 4th win in a row as they took care of San Francisco in Arizona, mind you. Hello, COVID-19. Gentlemen, it feels pretty darn good to be on a streak. First time they've done this many in a row since 2016, Santana.
Darn good, like Zach was saying. Definitely feel darn good.
Yeah, I gotta agree. It was pretty good to see that Sweden come out there and have a dominant defensive performance, exactly what you were expecting out of this group, and it was exciting to see, honestly. Nobody wants to play this team, like Ron Rivera said at the end of the game.
Well, the defense you have to pay attention to for sure. When Alex Smith has the offense running like he has during the wins before this, they're not anybody to sleep on either. But let's talk about the defense, because that is why this game was won. That is where the points was put up on. 2 defensive touchdowns, both of them coming from rookies. The first from Chase Young, the second from Kam Curl. But let's talk about Chase Young. He was doing everything on the field. In one word, Santana, can you describe him?
I think it's almost not fair to just use one word, because he's clearly, you can say so much more about this guy, but he's a flat out animal. Honestly, if you want to watch the way he plays the game, that one word, it has to be he's an animal.
Well, I got to go with the one that he uses all the time. That's dude. The man is a bona fide dude. I mean, he was dominant from start to finish. His sack, where he backed up into cover and then took out an all-out sprint and clobbered Nick Mullins, was a big boy play. And he's becoming more than just a highly talented rookie. He's officially a problem.
That's a good one. He's definitely a problem. I would maybe go with feared. How's that one? It's exactly what he wants. He wants opposing offenses to be afraid of him, to be fearful of him, to know that he's coming in to wreck that game. Let's now get into the stat of the game, because we know this one's going to be around Chase, because he put up a performance that is worthy of breaking down and understanding just how great it was. Here is Selby's stat of the game, presented by BDO. Go, Zach.
Okay, so let's go through some of Chase's numbers here. He had 6 combined tackles, 2 of which were solo, a sack, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery for a touchdown, 2 quarterback hits, and 2 pass breakups. Now, he is the first player in franchise history to record a fumble return for a touchdown, a forced fumble, and a sack in the same game. He was the first rookie in NFL history, 3rd overall, by the way, to record a fumble return for a touchdown, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, a sack, and 2 PBUs in a single game. Now, he has 3 forced fumbles this year, and that is the second most through 12 games in franchise history, second only to Ryan Kerrigan in 2011. Now, like I said earlier, he's an animal. He's a problem. He's a stud. He's a dude. He's whatever you want to describe him, but I think he's kind of in the mix for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And if for anyone who said he was a bust, forget what they were saying, because the man, he's one of the top players on this defense, no doubt about it.
I don't know who wrote that article saying he's not living up to expectations.
They look wrong now. They look
but
really
yeah,
wrong now.
they're eating their words right now. Santana, you heard him say, I don't think he's in the mix. Do you think he's solidified Defensive Rookie of the Year?
I mean, you could stamp it. There's a lot of guys out there that you can probably name, but but you have to understand what he brings to this defense. Look, I played with a defense, with this franchise that was playing on the same kind of a caliber that this defense is, and we had one guy that I can probably compare to a Chase Young, and that was Sean Taylor. He brings a different kind of energy, and that's why, to me, he would be my unanimous pick when it comes to that decision.
And it's how he practices. I mean, he told me he has a hard time not going anything but full force in practice. I saw Montez Sweat tip a ball, Chase Young run it in for a touchdown, which just preluded to what happened in the game, although it was Deron Payne that kind of helped set that one up. But it goes to show that the impact he is having, the way he is bringing that energy, that immediacy and urgency to practice is translating in the games. Everybody is getting better because of it. But give us another name of who else on defense in this game really kind of stood out to you, Zach.
Well, I think it has to be the guy you mentioned earlier. It has to be Montez Sweat, right? I mean, he's been a stud all year. I mean, the other day he had 5 tackles, all solo, 2 quarterback hits, and a sack as well. I mean, Chase played phenomenal. We all know that, it was obvious, but Sweat was not too far behind him, and that tandem is going to take this team places in the future. I mean, division titles, playoffs, hopefully beyond one day. You know, these two guys are special, and they're a core for what this defensive line is building, not just for this year, but for the future years ahead.
Yeah, one of the things that, I would pick out or point out when it comes to just other players, one of the guys that I've been highlighting for the last couple of weeks, Kam Curl. I can't get enough to talk about his play. When we have a guy of Landon Collins and his nature to go out and have a young guy, 7th-round pick, to come in and do the things he's been doing. I said to you guys last week, he was leading the team in 3 out of the last 4 weeks in tackles. Now he's still in the top 3 in tackles yesterday, had a pick 6. And just to add with that, he's just been phenomenal. He's been one of those other guys that's bringing a different kind of energy out there in that back end. So I have to tip my hat to Kam Curl. I can't forget guys like KPL, Bostic, Payne. He always just mentioned Sweat. I think our defense has just been playing, man. They've been going out there doing what they have to do, and it's only right for us to be sitting in the situation that we're in now.
A game ball to everybody that touched the ball on defense from this one. It goes all around. It's the performance we were expecting from them. And it's a good thing they were scoring, because the offense was not doing that at all. In fact, they didn't find the end zone. Meanwhile, it was the 7th straight game that they did put up at least 20 points thanks to the defense. So if we talk about the offensive struggles, Alex Smith seemed uncomfortable to begin with. Midway through the second quarter, he felt tightness in his calf. He left early. Dwayne Haskins Jr. had to finish it. But let's go a little bit into Alex Smith and what he did do out here. Here is this week's Smith's Read progression. It is presented by FedEx. Do you just kind of toss away the film on this one, Tana?
Not really. You have to pay attention to what's, what we're not doing right and what we are. And I think when it comes to this game, I've been so used to this team or this offense starting late that I was just sitting there saying, okay, don't worry today, Tana. Don't throw any shoes today. Just understand that they're going to get it going sooner or later.
They took a lot of shots early with Alex. That's because they thought San Fran played the run pretty well, so they wanted to test how well they could throw it. But it just wasn't working. They also thought they could exploit the secondary of San Fran. Meanwhile, Dwayne Haskins comes in. He at least he didn't lose the game for them, manages things enough of what they needed. Alex Smith could have gone back should he had to. He's basically day by day until we'll see on Wednesday whether or not he can or cannot practice. So Justice Smith was able to do what he did and play and make adjustments. You have options with your shipments. Use FedEx Delivery Manager to help you take more control of your residential deliveries. Okay, so the offensive struggles aren't entirely on Alex Smith. Zach sitting back kind of overall. They didn't have Antonio Gibson. I think you realize you missed his explosive plays. But what did you see them do? What was the problems as well?
It still goes down to the passing game, I think, is really what the biggest issue was. I mean, that first play from Alex to Terry, it was a miss across the field, and that could have ended up being more yards. And I think, as far as running game, going back to that is concerned, I think that, I'd like to see a little more room from McKissick. See if they get some more traction going. Because if Gibson can't go next week, that rotation between him and Barber is going to be going up a little bit more. So continue to watch the film, continue to see what they can grow and build on, because the Seattle team is really good, and they're going to need to continue if they want to get 5 straight.
In Santana, we haven't talked about Terry McLaurin. I mean, nobody really was a big factor offensively in this game, but he did get to 1,000 yards, the first since Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon. How outstanding is it to see what he does week in and week out and get to that milestone, first in his career?
It's a great accomplishment for a young wideout. I mean, that's one of the things that we all look forward to. I remember every year, I told you guys before, I never had, goals. I didn't like to sit there and limit myself. So I told myself, as long as I do my part, I should get 1,000 yards. As long as they give me the attempts, I should get 1,000 yards. So, unfortunately, I didn't get them every year. But when you do, man, it's a great feat for a young guy. And that just, it's basically him being rewarded for what he's out there, doing. I think for the hard work that he put in throughout the offseason and just being that guy. You do something like that with 3 different quarterbacks, having a season that we've been having on offense where it's been up and down. It's a great accomplishment.
And you put it all together, and this team is sitting in first place of the NFC East, in control of their own destiny. But how can they make it 5 in a row against Seattle? We'll get to that when we come back here on The Game.
Yeah, things are a little different this year.
Happy holidays! And we wish you a Merry
But it's good to know you can count on holiday scratch-offs from the Maryland Lottery. Multiply the cheer. Please play safely and responsibly.
Oh my
Mom, I'm finished.
We pray each day. May you come home and be
One more?
okay. For now, we wait for you to come home.
DC has a home for the greatest hits of all time.
That would be Michael Jackson for me.
DC's greatest hits
Madonna.
Billy Idol.
live here.
Cyndi Lauper.
Bon Jovi.
94.7
Blondie.
The Eagles.
The Drive.
All-time favorite football memory. I'll probably say winning the national championship. That's one of those things where you dream of doing your entire life, and actually being able to go there and play Clemson in such a crazy back and forth style game and actually be able to win it, pull it off, and live one of my dreams out, and then have my, at the time, fiance come down on the field. It was just, the whole event was just so surreal. That's by far my favorite football memory.
That was John Allen's favorite football memory, presented by Comcast Xfinity. And this is The Game, presented by BDO. Julie Donaldson, Santana Massa, and Zach Selby, and the very first place of the NFC East Washington football team. Santana, to start the year, we didn't imagine this is where we'd be. When head coach Ron Rivera made the change at quarterback, some of us thought maybe he's a little bit crazy. Not so much now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you know, Coach knew all along that he wanted to continue to develop this team and get them to understand how to win. And right now, to me, it's clear, you know, it's starting to come together. He said it. I'm pretty sure we all can see it. It's starting to come together. I'm pretty sure that he's telling these guys right now that, hey, we haven't gotten to where we're trying to get yet. So we can't pat ourselves on the back yet. Let's stay in the moment, because we have still some work to do.
I love the way Chase Young put it. He said, you know, Kobe Bryant, the great late Kobe Bryant, would never be satisfied with it. He would put his nose down, he would go to work, and he would make sure he got yet another win to get where they wanted to go. But Zach, you look at where this team was last year and where they are now. Where do you see the biggest growth?
Well, honestly, I believe they're starting to believe. I mean, like, and not to say they didn't believe earlier, but you can see that belief started to make its presence known on the field. Because, I mean, you look at where this team was when they lost against the Rams. I mean, I believe they were 1-5. Everyone thought this was going to be another rebuild year, but Rivera said, no, we're still believe we can win this division race. And wouldn't you know, they've doubled their win totals since last year because they believe in what Rivera is teaching them. And that has shown up. I mean, they've beaten the Bengals, they beat their rivals against in the Dallas Cowboys, they've beaten the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers team, and then they beat the 49ers, who went to the Super Bowl last year. And that is all because they're believing in what Ron Rivera is saying. They're trusting the coaches' methods, and it's paying off. I think that is the biggest thing, they're believing.
Santana, you've been in those locker rooms. How much does finding this success, winning 4 in a row, being in the conversation, seeing your name on national television, knowing other teams are looking at you, how much does it change your approach? Is it extra pressure, knowing that they are checking up on you? How much are you watching what other teams are doing as well?
I tried to not get so high, you know, or not be too low. So they've experienced both moments. They was at one point, 1-5. And we was talking about, this is, a disgrace and they need to just start planning for next year. And now they're sitting on top of the division. So hopefully, by them getting to where they're at right now, they stayed medium. They didn't taste that Kool-Aid or worry about what guys were saying or the outside noise. So right now, while you're in the situation you're in right now, like I said before, they've been through the fire. They understand that that's just talk. We still have to go out there and handle our business. So I'm sure that most of the guys, and even those veterans probably have been, talking to some of those young guys, just letting them know that, every week is a new challenge. So we have to make sure that we're ready for that challenge every week.
Yeah, that next challenge is going to be the Seahawks coming to FedEx Field. Russell Wilson has that offense flying. They are beatable, though, because the Giants took them down not too long ago, which is why we're in the situation of having to win against San Fran. Zach, you look at that team. What's going to be the biggest challenge in making this 5 in a row?
Well, it's going to be getting to Russell Wilson, because if you look at what the Giants did in that game a couple weeks ago, they got to Russell Wilson 5 times. Now, I mean, we all know that the Giants have they have an underrated defense, in my opinion. But I also know that they're not as good as Washington's defense in terms of getting to the passer. I haven't looked at the numbers yet, but they were tied for third heading in sacks, or overall sacks heading into this game against the 49ers. They got 4 against Nick Mullins in this 49ers offense. So if they can get to Russell Wilson, get him moving around in the pocket a little bit, and use that top-ranked passing defense to get some of their receivers off their routes a little bit, it's going to make it really tough for the Seahawks offense to function really well. And I'm not going to say we're going to have the similar performance that we did on Sunday, but it could be something close to that, I think.
And Tana, the last time we saw mobile quarterbacks, it didn't go so well. Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray. Is this team different, though, to face a mobile quarterback now?
I mean, they really have to go out there and show us. I believe that they might be a little more, ready for the challenge. If you can stop their run, or hold on to what they try to do running wise, and make Russ try to be Russ. Russ has been cooking all year long, and that's something that he's been prideful and going out there and trying to do. But when you're trying to do too much, you end up having the turnovers that he's been dealt, with week in and week out. So you have to put him in one of those kind of games, or that mindset, or that mode. Make him try to win the game, and that's when we can see our guys like Chase and see our guys like Sweat and Payne and those guys affect his play, and you can see us come up with some takeaways so we can, have the advantage of taking that game away from him.
Well, this is the part of the schedule where Coach put a big old circle and said, let's see the true character and growth that this team has. So far, we've done it against the Steelers and the 49ers. Now we have to do it against the Seahawks. For Santana Moss and Zach Selby, I'm Julie Donaldson, and we close with a huge congratulations to our team president, Jason Wright, by being named the best sports hire by the Sports Business Journal. Major props and congrats to him. Glad to have him working for us. Make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us a comment. We read them, we pay attention to them, and we want to give you what you want. Thanks for joining us on The Game presented by BDO. We'll see you next week, making it 5 Street.
Honda, we take the holidays seriously. Both with serious rugged performance and serious capability. So while others might be dreaming of winter wonderlands, you could be shattering expectations with the best value of the season. Now's the best time to get into a new Honda. KBB.com's best value brand for 2020. Visit Happy Honda Days at your local Honda dealer or shop online to get a great offer on the Pilot.
The landscape has changed, and not for the last time. The rules of business are being reinvented with a more flexible workforce, by embracing innovation, by looking not only at current opportunities, but ahead to future ones. Resilience is the ability to pivot again and again for whatever happens next.
People who know BDO.
DC has a home for the greatest hits of all time.
That would be Michael Jackson for me.
DC's greatest hits.
Madonna.
Billy Idol. Live here.
Cyndi Lauper.
Bon Jovi. 94.7.
Blondie.
The Eagles.
The Drive.
Here we come a-caroling among the leaves green. Here we come wandering so fair to be seen. Love and joy come to you and to your
Yeah, things are a little different this year.
Happy holidays! And we wish you a thank you.
But it's good to know you can count on holiday scratch-offs from the Maryland Lottery. Multiply the cheer. Please play safely and responsibly.
Free healthcare. Hundreds to more than $1,000 per month in disability compensation and tens of thousands for college tuition. These are just some of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs benefits that may be available to veterans. VA is focused on customer service like never before. Choose VA and see why veterans' trust in VA reached an all-time high. Claim the benefits you've earned at choose.va.gov.
It's all-wheel drive season and your local Honda dealers are bringing the best deals of the year. It's clearance pricing during the Happy Honda Days sales event. Dash through the snow to a rugged and adventurous Honda. Check out the entire all-wheel drive truck and SUV lineup. CR-V, HR-V, Ridgeline, Pilot, and Passport, with features like Honda Sensing, Magic Folding Seats, and 3 different driving modes. Clearance pricing is here, but it won't last long. Don't miss clearance pricing at the Happy Honda Days sales event, now at your local Honda dealer.